Music You Can See. We're at Winter NAMM with the great Jimmy Vivino. He is a one-man band. You talk about a late-night show band leader. He is the band. He doesn't need a band.
Well, now I don't have a band, so we have a half-hour show. We have a lot of online content. Like if we shoot a half hour, there's another hour worth of shit that goes up because we're finding out that, like when we were kids, we made our appointment with TV. Oh, something's going to be on. We got to be home and see it. Not anymore.
Now it's on demand.
Yeah, Nielsen ratings mean nothing. Nobody goes home to watch something from 11 o'clock. They'll watch it the next day. They'll watch it online. They'll watch bits of it on YouTube. They stream it everywhere. And so there's the half-hour home base, and I still write all the music for that. And, you know, recorded in my studio there at Warner Brothers. And I get to go home an hour earlier. You know?
Nice. And TBS was really smart to bring you guys back on here.
I think they're cool. I think it's cool, man. We're, you know, always, you know, after 25 years, the only reason we've been there that long is to keep reinventing ourselves. You know, and keeping it the same way these companies here at NAMM, you know.
Absolutely.
They got classic stuff, but you also got to introduce other things to stay, you know, vital.
And it
brought to a younger audience, even of players or viewers.
And it brought you to beautiful Southern California.
Well, I don't regret that for a minute, you know.
Right. So, last night you played with Billy Gibbons.
Oh yeah, we had a big jam thing. The best part about that, of course, was some of these kids that I didn't know. A band called Black Pistol Fire. Lauren Ruth Ward, a singer who sang with us with Robbie Krieger, and we did a couple Doors songs. And Emily Wolf, this kick-ass guitar player and singer. And then it was Jared James Nichols. I don't know if you saw that kid yet. And this 13-year-old kid, Toby Lee from England. That is just the real deal, blues player. And then it was me and Billy and Peter Frampton and Robbie Krieger and just a bunch of old guys. And I had a really cool band though, because I got Kenny Aronoff on drums and Daryl Jones, who plays with the Stones, on bass, and my buddy Jeff Young, who I know from, we used to play with Donald Fagen together in New York, and he plays with Jackson Browne now.
Wow.
So I just got some friends together, man, and and of course Nancy Wilson, the goddess, still one of the nicest people, and a groove, like, you know, great guitar player, beautiful. And I can't stick her in the category with a bunch of us old guys, though. No, she's too beautiful. Still, we're not, but she is.
And all on the same stage in one night.
Well,
wow.
Yeah, well, you know, Gibson made a big comeback. CJ came in to spearhead this new operation. I mean, they went from nothing last year, being at CES and not even being at NAMM, to the greatest setup upstairs, and they're back because the product is now Gibson guitars. That's it. There's none of these other branches of things of, you know, they diversified too much, which companies will do sometimes, but they got the ball back, and you know, I'm a big fan of their guitars for my whole life, you know.
Absolutely.
If I didn't see a Fender, I saw a Gibson. If I didn't see a Gibson, I saw a Fender, and an occasional Dan Electro.
Wow.
You know, in my life, you know, and bands that I saw. I base everything off of what I saw at 13 years old at the Fillmore East, you know, and that's what I saw. Gibson guitars, a lot of SGs, a lot of Les Pauls. Not so many Fenders. There was Hendrix playing a Fender. Everybody was playing a Gibson, really. Randy California had a Silvertone. That was an odd thing, you know. But mostly they were Gibson guitars, you know, and guys were playing Telecasters. It was a little rarer, you know. When I went and saw the Byrds and Clarence White was playing the Tele, then that's when I said, something's going on here. Music is, you know, this.
Absolutely.
And then the Burritos came and all that, you know, all that Southern California.
Right.
So, I don't know, there's nothing new for me, because I was talking to Larry Taylor over here, who, you know, his brother was the drummer for the Ventures. And then he was in Can't Heat, and still is. And we were saying, well, you know, we get together and we just talk about not only the music that we grew up playing in the 60s, but we talk about the stuff from the 50s and the 40s, and we never go forward. You know, we don't go forward. That's for kids to do.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's so much music. we get to a point, I think, where we are our record collections. You know,
Absolutely.
And when you can play a gig and people from your record collection walk into your life, that's the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
A guy like Peter Frampton, I said, man, I saw you in
Frampton.
1972.
Or someone like Robbie Krieger.
Yeah, Robbie Krieger, it's like surreal for me.
It is, isn't it?
Because when I was, a kid, those guys were the punks.
Yeah.
The Doors were redefining. They were breaking down all the barriers. Nobody was as rude to adults as Jim Morrison was, and he was part of our rebellion.
Absolutely.
He was like the hero of our rebellion at the time.
And then you have Robbie Krieger, who wrote the greatest song, classic rock song ever.
Single-handedly.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't know that.
And also plays with this flamenco style with his fingers. And he had, and the beauty of last night, Robbie comes out and he's got that SG on us.
His signature.
I said, is that it? He goes, no, this is the one. This is the one from '67.
He got it back.
Yeah.
Yes, because I know he was.
And then Peter had the guitar that got rescued. His black gold, his black beauty, his 3-pickup black beauty that was like in a plane wreck. I think Peter's got stolen and ended up in the ocean. And somebody brought it in somewhere. It was like waterlogged and like all pitted out, and he got it back, and he put, like George Harrison had guitars stolen, Jeff Beck had guitar. To see that guitar, both of those two guitars last night, and hear them, and those guys are still playing them. They weren't the, and I say, well, people always say, is it real? Every guitar is real, but those are iconic. Those are holy grail pieces, and it let me touch them. But it's that's what it's about. People that you meet, they're usually the coolest, as cool as the reason you love their music.
Well, when you're on stage last night, you realize you've arrived with those guys, right?
I'm just a traffic cop.
Oh, come on. You were the answer on Jeopardy. You were the question on Jeopardy.
Well, I was, though, yeah.
So you arrived
my friend Mark Maron, who's quite a good guitar player himself, I called him the other day to say, hey, man, you were like an answer in the New York Times crossword puzzle. I said, wow. I said, well, I've only been, an answer in Jeopardy. I've never gotten there yet. He goes, oh, it's okay, buddy. None of it matters, we're still just schmucky guitar players. And, I think last night was sort of a blur for me, but people are telling me it was okay, so I'm sure.
I saw video and pictures from it, and I was like, wow, I know that guy.
Well, we like to, we like to have him make it into a party and not a concert so much.
Wow, but just to be shoulder to shoulder with him.
Well, you run into these guys, and you run into them again, and you get to be tighter and tighter with them, and all you can hope is they pick up the phone when you call.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's all. Yeah.
And you've been playing around LA a lot. You've had some more. You have a
half an hour more time in your day now. Well, I have more time in life to play more. So
Talk about the Blues Foundation thing at the Wiltern.
Oh yeah, we're going to do another one this year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're Greg Williamson, who has Upper West promotion up in New York City. His heart is so into music, and we got the Blues Foundation and the Americana Society to come together because Americana is blues, and blues is Americana. All the guys I played with, Johnny Johnson and Chuck Berry and Hubert Sumlin and all these cats, they said they listened to the Opry when they were kids. All of them listened to the Opry.
The last one was a great gig.
Yeah.
There, so.
Chuck Berry, like he listened to the Opry. They thought he was a country guy when he came out. They thought Buddy Holly was black. So people didn't. There were no lines. It's funny, as sociologically messed up as it was down south, when it came to the music, there were no lines really. So music is what always will bring people together. I mean, and it did then, and we need it now more than ever.
Now, brother.
Well, it's been an honor, and I'm glad LA has you now. And don't move back east. Stay out here.
Yeah, and I think we're trying to do our Across the Great Divide again this year at the Wiltern, hopefully.
That was a cool gig.
Right.
There it is.
There it is. Jimmy Vivino, we're at NAMM. Music, you can see. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.